So the story we're diving into today isn't just about giving you the creeps. No, this one comes with a powerful and pretty chilling lesson. It's a story from Surat about a school, a final exam, and what turned out to be a really, really bad idea.
Now, really think about it for a second. How far would you actually go? Would you pull an all-nighter, cramming with coffee? Maybe just hope for the best? Or would you be tempted to bend the rules just a little bit to guarantee you pass? That question, right there, is exactly where our story begins.
All right, so let's meet our main characters, Megha and Siddhi. These two were thick as thieves, completely inseparable, and they both shared a huge passion. But it wasn't for their studies, it was for sports. I mean, they lived and breathed for playing games outside. The problem was, their final exams were right around the corner, and their grades were not great. They were staring at the real possibility of losing the one thing they loved the most.
And this, right here, shows you just how desperate they were. On one side, you have their reality. They were weak in their studies, terrified of failing, and knew for a fact their parents would ban them from sports, period. But on the other side, you have Megha's brilliant solution. It seems so simple, didn't it? Just steal the final exam paper, get the questions ahead of time, become the top scorers, and boom, problem solved. To them, it felt absolutely foolproof.
You know, when they laid it all out, the plan looked almost ridiculously simple. Just 4 steps. The toughest part, getting the key, turned out to be shockingly easy because Siddhi was great friends with Tia, the principal's daughter. So the plan was set. They'd sneak in late at night, copy down the questions, put the paper back, and nobody would ever find out. A zero-risk mission, or so they thought.
Okay, so picture this. It's 1 a.m. The school is completely deserted, just swallowed up by this creepy dead silence. Megha and Siddhi show up, hearts pounding, probably more from the thrill of it all than from any real fear. Megha's fumbling with the keys to the principal's office, and Siddhi's holding up a phone, using its flashlight to cut a nervous little beam through the pitch-black darkness. And then, all of a sudden, Siddhi just gasps. She feels this very clear, very real touch on the back of her neck. She whips around, but there's nothing there. Megha is still messing with the lock, both of her hands are busy. Siddhi tries to shake it off, her heart just hammering in her chest, telling herself, okay, it was probably just a bug, right?
But here's the thing. They were completely, totally alone. Megha's hands were on the lock. Siddhi was looking right at her. There was nobody else in that long, dark, silent hallway. And right there, that first little seed of real terror starts to take root. Just a minute later, it happens again. Siddhi's wearing a sleeveless top, and out of nowhere, she feels this intense blast of cold air, almost like an icy hand brushing against her bare arm. This time, she actually cries out. This wasn't just the wind. The feeling was so specific, so personal, and it was deeply, deeply unnerving.
Megha, trying to keep them on track, snaps at Siddhi to stop imagining things, but as the words leave her mouth, her own voice kind of breaks, because out of the corner of her eye, way down at the other end of the corridor, she sees it, a flicker of movement, the unmistakable feeling of a figure standing there, watching them from the shadows. Now the fear was real for both of them.
With one final loud click, the lock finally gives. They practically fall into the office, slamming the heavy wooden door behind them and throwing the bolt. They lean against it, trying to catch their breath, and for a second, this wave of relief washes over them. They were in. They were safe. But what they'd actually done was lock themselves in with the real horror.
For the next half hour, they're searching like crazy, using just their phone light, but nothing. They can't find the paper. Just as they're about to give up, a loud creak echoes through the silent office. An old, tall, wooden cupboard across the room just swings open, all by itself. And sitting there, inside a file, is a single sheet of paper, the exam.
They grab the paper, and Megha starts frantically copying the questions, her hands shaking. And that's when they hear it. Thack, thack, thack. 3 sharp, clean taps on the door they had just locked. They both freeze. It comes again. Thack, thack, thack. And then a third time. The pattern wasn't random. It was deliberate, it was intelligent, and it was absolutely terrifying.
And then, the knocking just stops, and it's replaced by a furious pounding. Boom, boom, boom. It literally sounded like someone was taking a sledgehammer to the door, trying to smash it to pieces. The entire door frame was shaking.
Forgetting all about the exam paper, the two girls just scream and dive for cover under the principal's heavy desk. And then, just as suddenly as it all started, the pounding stops. A complete, deafening silence falls over the room. They wait, trembling under the desk, not daring to breathe. And then, with an impossible crash, the door that they had bolted shut from the inside is thrown wide open. They don't even wait to see what it is. They just bolt. They scramble out from under the desk, out the open door, and they sprint across the school grounds. As they're running for their lives, Megha risks a single glance over her shoulder, and what she sees is burned into her mind forever. A figure, impossibly tall, maybe 7 feet. Its skin was stark white, its head was bald, and its eyes were just empty and white. It was dragging its right leg as it moved, and in one hand, it was holding a floor wiper. It raises the wiper as if to strike, and Megha just faints from pure terror. When they woke up, they were in the hospital. Their parents were there, and they were furious. The whole story of their break-in was out. They got suspended for 10 days, and of course, they were banned from taking the exam. But honestly, the punishment was nothing compared to the question that was haunting them. What did they see that night? It took months, but Megha finally worked up the courage to ask the school watchman if he knew any strange stories about the place.
And the watchman's story was chilling. He told her that years ago, long before they were even born, a janitor had been cleaning late one night in a classroom, the exact same room that was later turned into the principal's office. He was ambushed by a group of drunkards, beaten brutally, and his right leg was completely crushed in the attack. He died right there, in that room. And the watchman finished by saying that even today, people in the area report seeing a tall, limping figure carrying a wiper around the school grounds late at night.
The description was a perfect match. The tall figure, the wiper in his hand, the limp from a crushed right leg. The horrifying realization just washed over them. They hadn't been attacked by a person that night. They had come face to face with the vengeful spirit of a murdered man. As you can imagine, the girls were so completely traumatized that their parents had to pull them out of that school and find them a new one. They never got that easy A they were so desperate for. But you know, in the terrifying darkness of that office, they ended up learning something way more important. You see, they thought they were being so clever. They were convinced that their little crime would go completely unnoticed, that no one was watching. But they were so wrong. Something was watching. A force they couldn't possibly understand was there, making sure their wrong deed did not go unpunished. And that's a pretty chilling thought to end on, isn't it? Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the story really makes you wonder. When we choose to do something wrong, thinking we're totally alone, can we ever be truly 100% sure that we are?